They're off and racing. The listed, the Don Lockwood Sidney Banks Memorial Novices Hurdle begins over the near 2.5 mile trip. 10 flights of hurdles to be jumped in the journey, and it will be Sinatra who leads them on the approach to the first. Over number 1, not the best of leaps at the back of the field from Tidsley Wood, who was just a little close to that opening flight of hurdles. So Sinatra has the advantage. Leads the way from Glance at Midnight, who runs in second, the white and black, and Act of Innocence with a clear sighter at hurdle number 2. Jumped it better than Fresh Perspective in behind, who bunny hopped it a little in 4th place. In fact, Gavin Sheehan just adjusting with the irons there. Runs in company with stable companion Lady Tadita, the mare in the lineup. And the back marker is Tidsley Wood in the black and gold. So Sinatra, on the back of that easy success at Sandown last time, has the call as they are beginning the sweep down the side of the course out of the back straight. Glance at Midnight under Shane Quinlan running in 2nd place for trainer Andrew Martin. A little bit wider of those. Act of Innocence is in 3rd position, looking for a 2nd win over hurdles here today, having finished 2nd at Newbury, of course, last time. Closely followed by Fresh Perspective and Lady Tadita, the mare with a 2 from 2 record at the venue. And finally, Tidsley Wood, Johnny Burke on board for trainer Fergal O'Brien. 6 or 7 lengths here, front to back, as they come into the home straight and onwards to hurdles 4 and 5. On the left, Sinatra, the right, Glance at Midnight, the first pair. Further right now to find Act of Innocence in the emerald green and royal blue. Jumps that boldly, being followed by Fresh Perspective, who's a bit deeper still, a bit further to the right, working back more towards the inner Lady Tadita, and finally Tidsley Wood. Over number 5, not for the first time, Fresh Perspective was clumsy there, getting into the top bar as they now progress past the stands with a circuit to cover. And the Don Lockwood Sidney Banks Memorial Novices Hurdle, the 6 runners with another 5 flights to take. Sinatra setting this modest tempo, in front by still a length, over Glance at Midnight running 2nd. A half back then to Act of Innocence in 3rd. Lady Tadita, 2 wins so far for her over hurdles, nipping through on the inside. Running in advance of Fresh Perspective now, who's got the tongue tie on first time today. Back marker Tidsley Wood. Down towards the starting point they go, just beyond that now, so moving to the back straight run and onwards to hurdles 6 and 7. 3 parts of a length still the call for Sinatra. Bowling along and enjoying things on the sharp end, it would appear, from Glance at Midnight, who's also got an unbeaten record at Huntingdon. A couple of runners in the field with that, running in 2nd place. Act of Innocence for 3rd still, no change in that position, but moving along strongly on the bridle at this point in time. Sinatra missing out jumping-wise that time. In fact, a couple of them were a bit awkward. Back down the field there, Lady Tadita felt like her first mistake of the race. Tidsley Wood is still travelling rather enthusiastically, in fact, in rear in the black and gold. Is looking to perhaps just get into the mix for the first time. Number 7, Act of Innocence, coming much wider on the track now, racing 3 or 4 wider than Sinatra. Between them is Glance at Midnight. Fresh Perspective is in 4th position. Pace is increasing now, and 1 or 2 of these are starting to be squeezed along. Lady Tadita asks for a bit more, but she responds, and the back marker is Tidsley Wood. 3 more hurdles to take from here. Soon be out of the back straight. Sinatra, 2 shades of blue all the way so far in front. Glance at Midnight continues to track, now just pulling out to within half a length. Act of Innocence is 3 parts away in 3rd. Then Fresh Perspective, Tidsley Wood is improving deeper out. Got the distance form, of course, Tidsley Wood, but was a bit messy that time. Back marker Lady Tadita now coming under strong driving. So Sinatra will swing to the top of the home straight with 2 flights to take in the Sidney Banks and is still in front by a length or so. Glance at Midnight is in 2nd. Act of Innocence is 3 deep, levelling in, but not yet gone for by Nico de Boinville. They're tracked by Tidsley Wood and Fresh Perspective. They have left Lady Tadita behind. Left of the trio here up top, Sinatra. Centre, Glance at Midnight. Right, Act of Innocence. It'll be 3 together at the second from home, and now Act of Innocence is being shaken up to try and come through, and Quick and Clear. Glance at Midnight is just about with. They have gone away from Sinatra in third at the last. Act of Innocence picked up well. Is in front now by 2. It's hands and heels only at the moment. Now Nico asks for a bit more, and Act of Innocence is striding clear. Act of Innocence is the class act in the Sidney Banks. To beat Glance at Midnight in second, Sinatra in third, Tisleywood in fourth, and a gap to Fresh Perspective at Lady Tadita.
Well, the star of the show is in the background, Act of Innocence. He does take the eye, and he did ever since he walked into the parade ring. Nicky Henderson, well done, a 4th win in the Sidney Banks. He is a fine looker, isn't he? And he's got a lot of talent.
Correct. Yeah, you can't fault this, I have to say. He's a beautiful horse. I just said to Sue walking in, he's going to be some chaser in a year's time. He'd nearly feel like putting him away, but I don't suppose I'm going to be able to.
Was the retrospective from your perspective that actually, you know, he came out of Newbury beaten but took credit for trying to give a lot of weight to a good young horse?
I think so. And we made the I think we knew sort of going into Newbury this was going to be a tough task, and he did nothing wrong. Had to make the running, and it was a good experience for him. The good thing here is just upping the trip has, I don't say helped him, but you know, he's got it well.
Was it in the back of your mind that this was the kind of performance we might see with the trip unlocking it?
You'd have to sort of be thinking and hoping that's what we might see. And he's very talented, and as I say, you can see him in a year's time, in 2 years' time, I hope. He's gorgeous.
Given the depth of talent, and particular 2, of course, that the owners have got with you, is the sort of the route for both of them mapped out now?
You'd have to say that, yes. So when we put Old Park Star, he's ready to start his prep later on next week anyway. He'll start to get serious again. And this was to see if he was, in the very first place, I thought this was slightly the quicker of the 2, to be honest with you. They flip-flopped, if you like. Old Park Star seems to have plenty of pace. 2 miles around Haydock was no problem to him, and I know this isn't the biggest test of stamina around Huntingdon, but it's just shown he'll stay, and he will stay.
Natural talent-wise, he won this with Shishkin 6 years ago. I know he went to the Supreme. This will be a different route, but at this stage, are we talking natural talent-wise fairly comparable or not?
He's got a lot. He's always looked a really nice horse, and to be fair, you know, he's come to us this year, and just so ready-made. You can't fault him at the moment. He's just done nothing wrong all the way through, uncomplicated. Just looks the part. He's got a lot of class.
Last thing I want to ask you is just February as a whole. I know it's such a significant month, but considering what you run at Newbury on Saturday, and then of course a much talked of flat horse going into Newcastle in a couple of weeks' time, how much are you looking forward to, with a bit of trepidation, the next couple of weeks or so?
Well, we all know they're tricky times as much as they're exciting times. And, you know, you could see a couple of weekends ago, John Mon comes out and does everything we could have hoped for, and it's terrific. And then a week later, you know, poor Osagino, you know, who looked as if he had the whole thing under control as far as the world was going, and then all of a sudden he's out of it completely. So it just shows you, the next month is not exactly every trainer. It's lovely to have these horses, and we've got a fantastic team, but everything's got to go right from here on in.
Okay. Well done today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nicky.
Thanks, guys.
Well, that is a 4th win in the race for Nicky Henderson. That was an impressive success. Act of Innocence has won the Don Lockwood's Sidney Banks Memorial Hurdle, and done so at a price of 8 to 11 under a very confident Nico de Boinville. Impressive.
He was impressive. His jumping was good and fluent, particularly at the second last. I thought he was really good there, and he's moved into it really comfortably. He's powered away. I think he's been suited by this longer trip. Cheltenham targets, you would think that they'd be going for the intermediate race rather than the Supreme, given that the same owners obviously have Old Park Star as well.
He was 16 to 1 for the Turners before today.
Yeah, and he's impressed there. He's got the better of Glance at Midnight, who has run really well up in trip. I was a little bit concerned about whether he would properly see it out given his exuberance, but he's run really well in behind. And Act of Innocence has put a lot more distance between himself and Sinatra than when the pair met at Newbury over shorter.
Long, long way away yet, but it does get the talk going. There's, of course, no drama this end. Who's been the British flag bearer for the Turners going forward into that race and has had a very, very good season. Dr. Steinberg, maybe another route, talk the talk. Same as well with the Supreme mentioned. This guy is going to be a big player if he turns up in the Turners.
Yeah, he's clearly going to have to improve again, and it will be a much deeper race than what he's been in here. But he's already proven himself on different ground conditions. He's got that pace for shorter. He's got the stamina for this sort of distance today. And yes, it will require a step forward, but he is stepping forward all the time, I suppose, this fella. And he's back to winning ways here. He's a likeable type. It will be a bigger effort required come the festival, but he's definitely earned a spot there, you would think, if he comes out of this fine.
Hasn't he just? It's prick there, and Nick had a bit of listening to his thoughts on the defeat at Newbury. Perhaps the retrospective, the £20 trying to give to a very good juvenile. The form of Manila Yoga was not too bad at all, and they'll have learnt more about him today. He's back into the winners' enclosure, and for the fourth time, Angus, Nicky Henderson, after different gravy, Shishkin and Calafé en Vol has won the Sydney Banks.
Watch live racing now on racingtv.com.